Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been quite some time since I did a video. Unfortunately, I think my last one was just before Christmas. It is just after Valentine's Day now, so happy Valentine's to everybody. Valentine's was yesterday when I'm recording this. It's probably going to be a few days ago when this gets put on the internet, but yeah, life is being crazy. What can I say? So this video is just going to be kind of an update video on 3 different things. So this is probably going to be a long video. I'm sorry. I'm going to put some timestamps down below. So if you don't want to watch the entire video and you just want to get like certain updates, you can skip to the times. So if you watch this entire video, thank you so much, because you're a hardcore follower of mine then, because this is probably going to be long. I'm going to break this down into 3 different sections, and I'm essentially just going to go in order that things have happened. So the first section is going to be an update on Nova, my ball python, and how she's doing. And my second section is going to be about my mom, and what happened there. And the third and final section is going to kind of be a split between 2. It's going to be an update between how Kumori, my dog, is doing, and how I'm doing personally. So here we go. Let's just get this going, because it's going to be a long enough video as it is. First, we're going to start with my update on Nova, my ball python. So let me get her out so you can see her, and we'll start that. Okay, so here is Nova. I'm back a little bit further just so you can kind of get the full extent of her going on here. She's moving around. But there's the girly. You can see her coloring going on there. There's her head. So as you can see, Nova is doing extremely well. She is a little sweetheart. We did have an incident like a week ago now where she did bite me. However, I think that was my fault for 2 reasons. Number 1, I had COVID at the time, but I had to feed her. And so I wore a mask because I didn't want to get her sick. So I wore a mask, which was fine, but I also disinfected my hands right before I held her. And so the smell of the disinfectant on my hands mixed in with she was 2 days late being fed, so she was fairly hungry. I think just those 2 things combined just triggered her. It wasn't a strike bite. It was just ooh, that smells yummy. Let's open my mouth and see if it's food. Bite. It did not hurt at all. She let go as soon as I just blew a little puff of air on her face. So yeah, it was not a bad bite at all. But I've held her. This is the 3rd time now that I've held her since then, and she has not bit me since. So like I said, I don't think it was like an actual let me bite you. It was just I'm hungry, that smells kind of different and good, I'm gonna see if it's food. So yeah, that was interesting, but you know, I think it was my fault. But yeah, so this is little Nova. She is getting big. I've fondly nicknamed her my chunky monkey because she is pretty thick in her body, and that's normal for a ball python. She's not fat. ball pythons are very thick in body. So yeah, she is my chunky monkey. Just to give you a little, you know, this is what's going on. I do keep a record of her growing up, how much she weighs, how much her prey items are, what days I fed her, what days she sheds, how long she is, and all that fun stuff. So I do have that record. She'll stay still long enough. I have her book here with me just to kind of show you her book. This is kind of a neat binder that I found. I have pictures of her on the cover and on the back. And then down the spine it says Nova the BP ball python. I thought that was a really cool binder when I saw it, so I had to get it. But anyway, this is interesting with one hand when she's trying to escape. So just to give you an idea, I got her back on the 8th of September, and she weighed 83.8 grams. A little tiny little baby. 83.8 grams you weighed, Missy. That was really tiny. Oh my goodness. So now, just this last time I fed her on the 14th, so Valentine's Day, she now weighs 345.3 grams. So she went from 80 some grams to 300 and some grams in these past few months since September. Which is just amazing, I think. She's just doing so well. So well. She's really gaining weight. She's had a couple of sheds with me now. And those went great. So I am seriously happy with those. I love her coloring. Just the camera does not do her justice. Really, it does not. Come summer, I'm actually going to take her out in the sunshine and try and get some good pictures of her for you, because actually in the natural sunlight, the black on her has some iridescent sheen to it. So you can see like rainbow colors in there, which is just amazing. She's got a nice bright white belly. I could not be more happy with her. She is absolutely an amazing snake, and I think she is going to be beautiful when she's full grown. We still have a ways to go to get to that point, but she is doing amazing. Absolutely amazing. So that is Nova. I am seriously happy with her. My breeder, Chris Stone, was absolutely amazing, sending me this little girl. Again, for those, if this is your first time seeing her, she is a phantom morph of the ball python. And she's my little girly. She's now just over 6 months old. She was born, or hatched, I guess. Not born, she was hatched on August the 3rd, 2021. Which, ironically, I'm not sure if I said this in a video before, actually. I think I said it maybe in the unboxing video. August the 3rd is a very sentimental day for me. My childhood dog that I got when I was just a child, and I had right until she was just about 16 years old. So we grew up together, and she was my baby. Her birthday was August the 3rd. So August the 3rd has a good meaning for me. And so now I have another baby with a birthday of August the 3rd. So I think this was a match made in heaven, don't you? Yeah, I do. She's wonderful though. So stick around to see more of Nova on this channel. And now we'll move on to our next segment. Okay, and the second section is going to be on my mom. So this section is sad. I'm not gonna lie, it's going to involve death. So if you're not comfortable with that, please skip to the next section. I'm not going to go into great detail about this, but I just kind of wanted to let you know what happened, because in my December video of switching substrate out for Nova, I just kind of briefly mentioned that my mom had passed away. But I didn't go into any detail on it. I just didn't feel that I was ready at that time. So I'm going to kind of update you guys on what happened there. So for those that don't know, my mom did pass away on October the 4th, 2021. So a few months ago. She essentially, well, she died of cancer is what happened. But to tell the story, I have to go back early spring 2021, somewhere around February. So in February, she developed a cough, and we didn't really know what this cough was about. She went to the doctor with it. They said that nothing was wrong. They couldn't detect anything. Just to go home and kind of treat it with like cough medicines and stuff. So that's what she did. It started getting worse around the end of May. Now we pegged this down to, we had just started turning on the air conditioner in the house, and normally she did get a cough when we started to turn on the air conditioner, because it was blowing out all that dust and that kind of stuff. So normally she did develop a cough yearly when that happened, and then within a few weeks it would go away. It did not, however, go away. Later on, we were trying to figure out, you know, what can this be from? It was persistent, and at this point it wasn't getting any worse, but it wasn't getting any better either. And so we were trying to figure out, you know, have we introduced anything new into the house? You know, what could this be from? The only thing new that we had started to do was they had adopted, or essentially rescued, a guinea pig. And so we were like, okay, that's the only thing new in the house. However, we've had guinea pigs in the past and nothing, she wasn't allergic to them. However, you know, as you age, sometimes you develop allergies that you never had before. So we were like, okay, well, maybe it's the guinea pig. So I brought the guinea pig down here, downstairs with me. I still have her. But it didn't help. So around the beginning of September, things took a turn for the worse. And she started to get really sick. She had no appetite to eat. She was coughing so bad that she was throwing up with it. She had no energy. She could barely walk. She was so weak. Just to get her up to walk from the living room chair to the bathroom or to her bed, it was like an hour thing, because she was just so weak she could not walk. Her back was hurting her really badly, and the doctors had put that off to sciatica. Now maybe she did have sciatica, or maybe it was because of the cancer taking hold. We don't know to this day, and we never will know, but that was just a symptom that we saw. So mid-September, I'm not sure exactly of the dates, but mid-September, we took her to the doctor, down to the hospital, and they checked her out and detected a little bit of fluid in her right lung. And so they did a chest x-ray and that kind of stuff, and they said that she had a mild case of pneumonia. Okay, so they gave her medication for that, and she came home and started taking that. Unfortunately, she had a reaction to that medication, and so we called the doctor back, and they gave her a different medication, which she didn't have a reaction to. So she finished that medication, and then it didn't help. It just did not help. Now, I'm not sure of the exact date of this, but it was roughly about 2 weeks before she passed away. One night, she was really bad. Really, really bad. Me and Dad were scared. And at 3:30 in the morning, we ended up calling the ambulance to take her to the hospital. And the EMTs came. And now, please don't get me wrong here. I am not putting any blame on the EMTs or anything like that. This is just how it worked out. Just telling the story here. The EMTs came, they checked her out, and they said, because of the COVID in my area, they were only taking emergency patients to the hospital at that point in time. And they did not feel that she was an emergency. So they didn't take her. They left her here. So that night went by. That was Friday. Correction, Thursday. That was a Thursday. She was at home all day Friday and was steadily declining throughout Friday. Saturday morning, me and Dad essentially decided, no, this cannot continue. Something has got to be done because she is not even just holding her own, she is declining. And so we loaded her up into the vehicle and took her to the hospital ourselves. So in the hospital, they did blood work and they did chest x-rays, they did MRIs, they did the whole works. And they found, at that point in time, they found out that her levels were all over the place. Her magnesium was high, her calcium was low, just everything was all jumbled up. And so they admitted her to the hospital, put her on IV, and was trying to get these regulated. So she was in the hospital, and I'm not going to say which hospital because that would give my exact location to the internet, and that's not a good thing to do. But for those that know me personally, you'll know what hospital I'm talking about. It's next town over from me. So yeah, she was in that hospital for about a week as they were trying to regulate those levels. Towards the end of the week, she was still not making any progress. When they would bring one level normal, another one would go up. They just could not get her regulated. And so the doctor on call went, I need to do a complete physical. We're going to look at everything, not just the levels. And so they did that, and they called us back into the room, and essentially then is when they said that they had found an abnormality on her left breast, and they suspected breast cancer. And so at that point in time, they were like, we can't treat that here. She's going to have to go into the city hospital. Again, if you know me, you'll know what city I'm talking about. It's about 45-minute drive from me, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how fast you go. So they took her into the city hospital by ambulance. On the way to the city hospital, her blood pressure crashed on them, went completely out of sight. In the small town hospital, she was pretty lucid. She knew us. She talked sensibly. She was a little bit confused. Like she was trying to get up and go walk down the street type thing, but they were saying that was because of the levels being everywhere. It was confusing her. After her blood pressure crashed in the ambulance, she was never the same. She was completely out of it. I think she knew us to look at us, but she never had another conversation. That was kind of like the turning point in this story. So she was in emergency for just about 2 days because there was no beds in the hospital because of COVID. It was just a real circus, actually. That's when I really found out just how bad the hospitals were with COVID at that time, because it was nuts, let me tell you. The emergency bays where the ambulances would pull in were beds, because they were overflowing. It was crazy, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, let's kind of make this a little bit shorter. She ended up being moved up into a ward, and from there they did tests and they kept on going. She wasn't even in the city hospital for a week. That's how fast everything went. The day after she got admitted to that hospital, we were told that she did in fact have breast cancer, and they detected something on the brain. They weren't too sure what it was at that point in time, but it was there. And we were told that they were going to essentially give her a few months to live. So we were coming to terms with that, and October 4th, the day that she passed away, the morning that she passed away, at around 8:30 in the morning, we got a phone call from her doctor, and he essentially said that tests had shown that the cancer was everywhere. It was in her breast, in her brain, her liver, her kidneys, everything. It was everywhere. And at that point, he said that it was time to start getting the affairs in order, because they were going to give her roughly about 2 weeks. So we went from a few months to 2 weeks. So got off the phone with him, and we were calling family and friends and updating them on that news. And not even half an hour later, it was about 5 to 9 in the morning, we got another call again from her doctor saying that she had crashed, and if we wanted to say our goodbyes, that we should get there as soon as possible. So within half an hour, we went from 2 weeks to get here now. So we jumped in the car, we raced in, obviously. We got there, and I should mention, up until this point, only one person was allowed to go in and see her because of the COVID protocols. So I had been the one that was going in to see her all the time just because I'm better at technology. And so I was going in and I was FaceTiming my dad, who was staying out in the vehicle, so that he could see her and talk with her through the camera. Where if my dad had gone in, he wouldn't have known how to do that. So I'd been left out in left field. So the doctor that morning said he was going to clear us both to come in because this was essentially a last time thing. So we got there, we had to go through security because they had to call up and get the clearance that we could both go in. By the time we got there, by the time we went through security, by the time we got up to her floor and got down to her room, unfortunately, she had already passed away. So we did not get to see her before she passed. But that's essentially what happened. So it was very fast. It was very unexpected. What started out as a cough turned into pneumonia, turned into breast cancer, where we thought that, worst case scenario, she might have to have a mastectomy. Turned into 2 weeks, and she passed away that day. So it was very unexpected. It was very fast. And we're still kind of reeling from it. But that's essentially what happened the end of 2021. So, yeah. Then I made my last video in December, just because I wanted to do something to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But I hadn't really been thinking of anything to film, so I just filmed me changing out substrate in Nova's enclosure with that one. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it above for you. But that's what happened up until Christmas. So, we'll move on to section 3 now, and this is an update on my dog and how my own personal health has been. So, I'm going to start with my dog because, like I said, I'm going in order here. He is holding his own, but not doing overly great. So, as you know, if you follow my channel and my Instagram page, he is one sick puppy. He's 11 years old now, and he has a major growth in his right ear. It is just before Christmas, it essentially popped outward. So he has this mass on the side of his head now. That mass broke and drained, which was a good thing. But in taking him to the vet again, he's been with the vet throughout this entire thing, but in taking him to the vet again, they did blood work on him, and because he was losing weight as well, and so they were kind of worried about that. We did blood work on him, and we found out that he also has hypothyroidism. So that's not doing good. The thyroid is in the throat, for those that don't know. And hypothyroidism can lead to weight loss. It can lead to hair loss or issues with the hair. For Kumori, it is essentially hindering him from shedding his coat really well. So like I said, it's just after Valentine's Day here now, and he's still trying to shed his coat from fall. And that's with me brushing him regularly. So it is definitely affecting that. I think we've just about got his coat all shed out, and he's going to start shedding here again anytime for spring. So yeah, it is what it is. He's still losing weight. last time that I took him to the vet, which was 2 weeks ago, he had lost another 2 kilograms, and that was within a 2-week span. So it's not a slow weight loss. It is a pretty rapid weight loss. And he doesn't have a lot of weight to lose. He was never a very hefty dog. He was born with not fully functioning kidneys, which the blood work also did confirm his kidneys are functioning at 70%. So it's nothing life-threatening, but it's definitely something that affects him in the thing of he was never a hefty dog to begin with. Right from when he was a puppy, I've always had issues keeping weight on him. I tried many different dog foods, trying to figure out what would work best for him. And either they would put weight on him but make him sick, or they wouldn't put weight on him but he wasn't sick. I finally found a dog food. It's called Pure Vita, for those that want to know. And it kept a relative good weight on him in his younger years, and didn't make him sick. So, bonus. He's still on that now. The vet has suggested not tampering with that. Just because, you know, on top of everything else, we don't need him throwing up. So, you know, it is what it is, but he is losing weight because of that hypothyroidism. There he goes there behind me. So as you can see, he's not a hefty dog. He does not have a lot of weight left on him. He is skin and bones. I can see and feel his spine, his hunch bones, his ribs, everything. But there's essentially nothing that we can do about it. Yeah, my poor little boy. He's still himself. I will say that. He's still himself. He's still happy. He's not in pain as far as we can tell. He is starting to slow down, but that's just because he's 11 years old. So for his breed, he's an elderly man. So we are, and by we I mean me and my vet, are keeping a very close eye on him. He goes back to the vet again. This is Tuesday that I'm filming this video. He's going back again on Friday to have more blood work done, to see how his levels are doing. He is on medication, so he's on 3 meds that I have here. Just going to kind of go through them, just in case somebody's going through this with me. You know, if your dog has this, you can suggest to your vet that this is what another dog had. So he is on prednisone, 50 milligrams, and he gets that once a day. And that is a steroid, essentially, and it's to try and control the growth in his ear. We're not going to get rid of it, but we're hoping to keep it from getting bigger, essentially. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, that yes, we could do surgery to take that growth out. However, with his age and with his health, he only has about a 40% chance, and that actually could be less now, of making it through the surgery. So, and it's like a $2,000 plus surgery, and the recovery would be months and months and months of recovery, because essentially they would have to cut open the side of his face and his ear canal to get to that growth. So because it's such an extensive surgery, because of his health conditions, both me and the vet have ruled that out and gone, no. We're just going to try and control that with the prednisone and go from there, essentially. He is also on cephalexin, 500 milligrams. This is an antibiotic, and it's so when that growth popped outward and drained, it drained, and I'm sorry, this is gross, but it drained like a white pussy substance, and so that's telling us that it got infected. So he's on antibiotics to try and clear up that infection, and he may be on them. Well, he's probably going to be on these 3 medications the rest of his life. So we're going to see. He's also on thyroid tab, 0.5 milligrams, and he gets this. He gets this twice a day, and he gets this twice a day. He gets the prednisone once a day. So the thyroid tab is obviously to try and help that hypothyroidism that he has. So yeah, that's fun. Thankfully, he's not bad at taking medication. I essentially just pop the pills in his food dish with his food, and he cleans it all up. So I'm thankful for that. He's not the type of dog that I have to like fight with him and shove it down his throat type thing. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, that's where we're at with Kumori. The vet has said to put into human terms that is better understandable. He's currently in palliative care, essentially. We're going to keep him as comfortable as possible for as long as possible. But eventually, we will probably need to make that final call to put him to sleep. That call is not going to be made until it's necessary. Now, what that looks like, we're not sure. It could be if he starts being in pain. It could be if he stops eating. It could be if his weight gets too low and starts to shut down things like kidney, liver, and all that. We don't know. We're taking it one day at a time at this point. He's going for regular vet checkups. And we're going from there. So yeah, he's just gonna like lay down here in the camera. Look at me, I'm so pretty. So yeah, that's where we're at with Kumori. It's one day at a time. I do not know how much longer I have with him. I don't know what today is going to bring, let alone tomorrow with him. But we're going from there. Oh, sorry. That brings me to my next point of how my health is doing. Yeah, I got COVID. It finally caught up with me. It caught up with my dad too. We both had it at the exact same time. It's been just over 2 weeks now that I've had it. Oh, let me tell you. I did not end up in the hospital with it. That didn't happen. I did have to see a doctor, however. So a couple of weeks ago on actually 2 weeks ago today, 2 weeks ago Tuesday, I woke up with a scratchy throat. And I was like, okay, I'm probably getting a cold. I went to work that day, and throughout that day, my throat got worse, and I started getting hot and cold chills. So I get really hot, and then I go really cold. And my energy started to drain. By Tuesday evening, I knew something was going on. And I was like, okay, just to play it safe, let's do a COVID test. We had some rapid test kits here. And so I was like, I'm going to do a rapid COVID test and we're going to see what it comes back as. So I took the test and it came back negative. And so I was like, okay, maybe this is just a really bad cold. So the next day I did not go into work. I just stayed home, and number one, because I didn't want to spread it. And number two, just because I felt really bad. I was running a fever. I was coughing. I was dizzy. I was so dizzy. I could barely stand. That's how dizzy I was. It was nasty. My nose was stuffed up. It was running. I had a cough. It was nasty. Sorry. Talking is not going well here. But anyway, that evening, Wednesday evening, I was like, no, this has got to be more than a cold. I've never had a cold like this before in my entire life. This has got to be more than a cold. I'm going to do another rapid COVID test. So I did another test, and that one came back positive. And so I was like, yep, here we go. I evaded it for 2 years, and it finally caught up with me. And I should say, that day, on the Wednesday, my dad started getting a scratchy throat and a fever and all of this. So I was like, hey, you're going through this with me. We're both fully vaccinated. And actually, funny thing was, just 2 days prior on the Monday, my dad had got his booster shot. So that was kind of entertaining. But, yep. So for 2 weeks now, we've been suffering with COVID. Within the first 5 days, we broke the fever. Energy was at 0. We could not do anything. We did not have any appetite to eat. Like I said, fever, cough, stuffy nose, runny nose for me. My dad didn't get the nose part. I got the nose part. I also got, what I found out later is vertigo. So after that, Wednesday, when I was super, super dizzy, by the Thursday, that had gone away, but the vertigo had come. So essentially, if I moved my head fast, if I got up to walk, anything like that, things were not staying still. The room was shifting where I wasn't. Even when I was sitting down, so I knew I wasn't shifting, things were zooming in and out. It was not fun. And my dad's blood pressure went sky high. And so that was essentially why we decided that we needed to go see a doctor, because his blood pressure was not coming back down and my vertigo was not going away. And so here in Saskatchewan, Canada, we have Healthline 811. And so you call that number 811 on your phone, and you can talk to like registered nurses and stuff and kind of get like help. So I called 811 and explained to them what was going on, and they suggested that we go see a doctor at the COVID assessment clinic. So the next day, we went down to the COVID assessment clinic, and they did the whole checkup thing. And by that time, thankfully, my dad's blood pressure had come down a bit. It was not back to normal by any means, but it wasn't as high as it had been for the past like 3 days. And so because it was starting to come back down, they didn't deem that it was anything too serious for him. They just went, essentially self-monitor, if you have any like dizziness, numbness of the face or arms or pain or anything like that, go to your local hospital. But other than that, just kind of, self-monitor and take it easy. For me, I found out that I had fluid in my left ear. So it had essentially turned into an infection. So I got put on antibiotics for that, amoxicillin. So I'm still taking those. I got put on those for 10 days. And because of the vertigo, they wanted to try and contain that. So they gave me some medication for that as well. I can't remember what it's called, whatever. They put me on that, and so I'm on that for 7 days, or until the vertigo goes away. Currently, I'm not too bad. I think the medication is finally starting to kick in and work. Sitting down, I'm fine. Standing and walking, I'm fine now. If I do make too fast of a movement, however, like if I go to turn too fast, there'll be a moment of, where's everything going? And then it settles again. So I am getting better. We took another test and it came back negative. So the doctor that we saw said that once the test came back negative, we were no longer contagious. So I'm going back to work tomorrow, after 2 weeks. Thank you to my backup. I'm not going to name her on the internet because I don't know if she wants me to, but thank you to my backup for working the library for me because, yeah, there was no way I was doing it. But yes, tomorrow I'm going back to work for the first time in 2 weeks, and hopefully life gets back to normal here. So I think now you can kind of see why I haven't made a YouTube video in 2 months. Life has been kind of crazy around here between mom passing away, my dog doing the whole sick vet thing, getting COVID and trying to get over that. It's been crazy. So hopefully we're back on the right track again. Hopefully things start settling down and I can start thinking up new YouTube videos to do. But thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching this entire video. If you've been right from the beginning to the end, you're amazing. If not, that's fine. I totally understand. But if you haven't yet, I would appreciate liking the video and subscribing below. I give regular updates on Instagram. I haven't been lately because of life being so crazy, but normally I give regular updates on Instagram, so please follow me there if you haven't already. The link is in the description. And hopefully, if everything settles down here, I will see you again soon. Thanks for coming, guys. See you soon.